next, I would like to invite Mr. Tilak Songwa from Government of Bhutan, the Ministry of Economic Affairs.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. In my presentation, I'll be giving you a brief overview on the energy sector, basically covering the institutional arrangement, existing energy-related policies, and then the energy situation in the country. And then after, I'll be just taking you through on the SE4All initiatives that we are taking in the country, and then its status, and then finally on the investment opportunities. This is the energy sector arrangement that we have in the country. Ministry of Economic Affairs is the nodal ministry which approves the fiscal incentives, the regulatory, the permit issuance. And under the ministry, we have basically two departments which looks after the renewable energy. One, the large hydropower projects, which are above 25 megawatts. And then Department of Renewable Energy, which looks after the alternate renewable energy sources, and then hydropower less than 25 megawatts. We have two state-owned corporation, Do Green Power Corporation and then Bhutan Power Corporation Limited. DGPC is basically responsible for managing and operating hydropower projects more than 25 megawatts and receives policy directives from Department of Hydropower and Power System. On the other hand, we have Bhutan Power Corporation Limited, who manages and operates the small and mini micro hydropower less than 25 megawatts, and then manages the transmission and distribution, and is also a utility company and receives directives from the Department of Renewable Energy. We have a Bhutan Electricity Authority, which is responsible for regulatory directives and basically responsible for licensing and then tariffs, setting of the tariff in the country. Druk Holding and Investment we have, which gives financial directives to the two state-owned companies. Presently, we have about 5 policies and acts in the country. Electricity Act of Bhutan 2001. We have Economic Development Policy of Bhutan 2010 and Foreign Direct Investment Policy 2010, which directly takes care about the foreign direct investment and incentives. Sustainable Hydropower Development Policy 2008 and then Alternate Renewable Energy Policy 2013, which takes care of the development of the renewable energy in the country. If you see this pie chart, 72% of the energy generated, that we generate from the hydropower, we export. And then about 28% we consume in the country. And you may be having a question that, does really Bhutan need any assistance in terms of developing other renewable energy? And the answer is, I think, yes. Because if you see this generation and load curve that we have analyzed in the department, in 2013, we have acute shortage of power during the dry season because hydropower is mostly a seasonal dependent. And we have to import about 7% of the total domestic demand from India. It will be even clear if you see this energy trade balance table, where it shows that the import of energy from the revenue that we earn from the export of hydropower is not sufficient to meet the demand in terms of the fossil fuel in the country. Why so? Because if you see this sector-wise energy consumption that the country has analyzed in 2011, the latest one, about 47% is being consumed by the industry, followed by transport, and then building sector. And the latest study done by the ADB in 2014 shows that the energy demand in the country is only going to increase over the years, and except for the biomass, which is going to be, I think, will come into some control, but of course in an increasing trend. Now, If I just give you a brief background on energy SE4All initiatives in the country, Bhutan joined in 2012 after the Rio Brazil summit. And then in the same year, the rapid assessment and gap analysis studies were carried out through the support from the UNDP and ADP. And then the Energy Plus Partnership, the project was launched. But before that, if we just see some of the findings quickly, it was found that in terms of energy access, there was no clear policy how to reduce biomass consumption. And then there was a need for the capacity building in the Department of Renewable Energy, because department was just established in the end of 2011. In the renewable energy sector, it was spelled out that there was a need to develop the roadmap for all the renewable energy technologies and then feed-in tariff framework. And it was also clearly brought out that the private sector, the strengthening of capacity to develop renewable energy were also shown. And then in the energy efficiency, it was given out that there was no detailed studies were carried out, and then there was found out that the absence of energy efficiency policy. Then what we did, if you just see the updates, in the energy access front, the government has a target to electrify all the households by 2020. In 2005, JICA did a study, and they have came up with a roadmap to achieve electricity for all by 2013. With the first democratically elected government in 2008, electricity for all programs were launched. And then today more than 96% of households are being electrified. This is briefly about the hydropower development that we have. Today we have about 1,606, which is about 6% of the total technically feasible capacity that we have developed. And this is brief about the public-private partnership, the hydropower projects development that is being taken and then expected to take up. We have already commissioned the first public-private partnership project of about 126 megawatt. The other is on pipeline, and the 5 other projects are in the advanced stage of studies. We have a renewable energy policy which requires about 20 megawatts to be achieved, and then RE master plan and roadmap is underway. We're also doing improved cookie stoves, biogas, wind, and then solar energy projects parallelly. On the energy efficiency improvement, we are developing an energy efficiency and conservation policy. And to develop this policy, we have taken a bottom-up approach, whereby we have done energy auditing of 4 sectors: building, industry, transport, and appliances. And then based on this, the policy will be developed with the targets. And parallelly, we are also disseminating the demand-side management programs such as the LED distribution, LED lamp distributions in the country. Quickly, there will be investment opportunities in Bhutan, but that will come after the completion of the renewable energy and energy efficiency preparatory study that we are undertaking under the SE4All partnership project. And then we also have about 1 to 2 projects, hydropower projects, to be developed under the PPP within 2013 and 18. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Songwa. I think that's also quite a good coverage about the national policies framework for sustainable energy for. It's also quite a clear target. And also I'm glad to see the energy access target is also by 2020. You have quite a good foundation now. It's already 96% access to electricity. But probably the 4% will be most difficult, very scattered remote area. That may take more effort